Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about a novella called Scrooge by Charles Dickens. This work was published in 1843. It's about a guy called Scrooge who's a miserly kind of guy who lives in London, England. His colleague, called Marley, died several years ago. When he died, no one went to Marley's funeral other than Scrooge, because he was disliked in the community because he was so unfriendly and unkind, much like Scrooge. When Scrooge is at work, he treats his clerk badly and also treats his nephew badly when his nephew comes around to ask him if Scrooge will go to his family's gathering for Christmas. Also, in stave 1, two gentlemen come round and ask Scrooge for some money for those in need, but Scrooge won't give them any money. This book is divided into 5 staves. Charles Dickens decided upon this structure because he wanted this prose work to mimic a carol. When Scrooge is at home, Marley's ghost appears and informs Scrooge that 3 more ghosts will come his way. Marley is in heavy chains and tied to the ground by heavy boxes of cash, so his sins have gone with him to the afterlife. In medieval England, people believed that those who weren't good enough to get to heaven ended up in purgatory. And from there, they needed to try to make others on earth good, so that others on earth could get to heaven, and also they themselves could ultimately get to heaven. An example of these stories is the Byland ghost stories that were written in the Byland Abbey. M.R. James was much influenced by the Byland ghost stories. In stave 2, a strange old-looking diminutive ghost appears to Scrooge, and he says he is the ghost of Christmas past. He takes Scrooge through a wall and they travel around the place. Scrooge sees scenes from his early life when he was a nicer person. Then we see scenes from Scrooge's life when he was a bit older and so on. you can already see signs that Scrooge is beginning to regret what he was at this stage. In stave 3, it seems that no ghost is going to appear, but then he finds that there is a jolly giant who is a ghost in the adjoining room to his own bedroom. The jolly giant says that he is the ghost of Christmas present. This ghost similarly takes Scrooge on a journey around the place. When Scrooge sees the Cratchit family, he sees they are very happy even though they are poor. Bob Cratchit works for Scrooge, so he knows of this family already. Bob Cratchit has a son called Tiny Tim, and he is disabled. But still, he manages to enjoy Christmas. I think stave 4 can confuse some people because what goes on in this stave isn't necessarily going to happen. In this stave, a ghost appears saying he is the ghost of the Christmas yet to come. And we see Scrooge's life if he doesn't change. Businessmen attend Scrooge's funeral only because there is food available, and we learn that others benefit from the death of Scrooge. When Scrooge gets back home, he's already a changed man in time for Christmas. He agrees to give Mr. Cratchit more pay, and he agrees to go and participate in the gathering with his nephew and his family. In the future, he becomes very much part of the community. Some critics see A Christmas Carol as a strongly secular tale. I don't agree. I think this novella is deeply rooted in Christianity. As I was saying earlier, I see it as coming from the ghost stories of the Middle Ages. Some critics think Scrooge is someone we should strongly relate to. I don't really agree with that either. I think Scrooge is meant to be a vulgar kind of villain, but he makes this massive transition because that's what Christianity is about, the ability to transition to be a better person. Charles Dickens hated to see rich people mistreat poor people. Dickens himself wasn't for money, so he would relate to the Cratchit family more than anything in this work. Thanks for watching. See you next time.